Now, from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Saturday morning.
Dozens of people, including a pastor, arrested in North Carolina after feuding with federal agents. The arrest that prompted these protests and the protest that got out of hand. The historic Campfire in Northern California is nearly out this morning, but hundreds of people are still missing. The technology working to reconnect families with their missing loved ones. But first, Charlotte's only Doppler radar is busy this morning. Freezing rain across several counties, even snow in the mountains. Look at that. Be prepared for wet roads and rougher driving conditions today. Meteorologist Jacqueline Shear is tracking when those conditions will improve. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm Kristen Lee in Severe Weather Center 9 with meteorologist Jacqueline Shear. We're still seeing some frozen precipitation, but you're saying it's going to change over to rain throughout the day. Yeah, and you know what? This has been almost 12 hours of that freezing rain in the high country, about 11 in fact. So it has been going on for quite some time. The good news is, though, those temperatures are starting to climb. That'll make a big difference. And then after that, this rain will clear up entirely. In fact, we're going to be tracking the edge of that system right there. But first of all, here's what we're looking at right now. And I want to point out Doppler 9 right now is sweeping about 300 miles. So we are seeing the end of this system within that 300 miles here. But this pink that you see on your screen, that's freezing rain. That causes issues on those roadways. You want to be very aware of that if you're headed out the door. And this is a pretty wide swath of area. It's not only in the high country, it's also in foothills, areas like this. Even Salisbury now starting to see a little bit of that freezing rain. Hickory has been seeing it for a while, and in Boone, we are from time to time seeing a few light snow showers. That's really the benefit of early warning Doppler 9. We're getting a very accurate, a very timely image of what's happening up there. So we have been seeing this changing from flurries to freezing rain and back and forth over the past few hours. Now again, we're sweeping about 300 miles. So here's the end of that 300 miles is the end of that beam. And you can see that about 150 miles, I'd estimate, from where our point here, right here is in Charlotte. That's where the end of this storm is. It's really in our area already. So we're tracking this pushing through very quickly, and then we will dry out by the evening. We're going to time it all out. I'll give you some specific information on what you can expect for the rest of the day coming up in just a few minutes. You'll have to brave that dreary weather if you continue holiday shopping today. Today is, of course, Small Business Saturday. It started in 2010 to boost sales at local shops. The National Federation of Independent Business says last year 108 million shoppers spent nearly $13 billion during the holiday. We've posted links to local Small Business Saturday events in our area. You can find those on our free WSOC TV app. Many people in our area got their holiday shopping started on Black Friday. Tens of thousands shopped at Concord Mills yesterday. Stores opened there at 6 on Thursday and stayed open until 9 last night. Not everybody made it that long, though. We spoke to some people who, look, they literally shopped until they dropped.
We're tired.
You hanging in there?
Yes. Still got to drive back about an hour, so we're good.
And check out this woman. She had a shopping cart overflowing with stuff. She tells us that was just the start of her shopping. Her list is 3 pages long.
We're still going. We kind of just got started.
Well, they're going to be... Wait, this is just getting started?
Right, it really is. And
I don't believe that.
if you see my house, I've already got presents stacked up the wall.
A mall spokesperson told us crowds were bigger this year than last year, despite the growing trend of online shopping. Overnight, we learned the gunman who opened fire during Black Friday shopping in Alabama may actually be at large, and the man police shot and killed is not the gunman. We first told you on Daybreak yesterday a fight inside this mall in Hoover outside Birmingham led to gunfire. An 18-year-old and a 12-year-old were shot. Police said they shot and killed a 21-year-old who brandished a gun and ran from the scene. They thought he was the gunman. Now police say that man was somehow involved in the fight but did not fire the shots. They're now working to identify the shooter. 2 people were stabbed during a fight at this mall. This is in Syracuse, New York. That happened yesterday on Black Friday. Police say the injured men were fighting in a Macy's. Employees say the fight continued into a nearby store. Black Friday shoppers had to evacuate while police investigated. Thankfully, nothing like that happened here in the Carolinas yesterday, but we did do some digging and found the Carolinas are high on the list of the most violent states on Black Friday. According to reviews.org, North Carolina ranks 4th. South Carolina comes in at number 11. The results are based on an analysis of police reports. Tramplings and shootings are most common on Black Friday. The website says Walmarts and malls are historically the most dangerous places. This morning, we're asking police about the person they arrested for a shooting in West Charlotte. The shooting happened outside a home on Fairwood Avenue around 8:45 last night. CMPD tells us the victim and the suspect did know each other. They say the victim was shot several times and has life-threatening injuries. The suspect is in custody. Police have not identified either person involved. California's deadliest wildfire is almost fully under control. The Campfire in the northern part of the state is now 95% contained. Recent rain showers did bring some relief, but officials are now worried about that rain causing mudslides or landslides. At least 84 people died in the Campfire, with more than 600 still missing. Crews are digging through charred rubble of homes, hoping to find some of the hundreds of people who are still unaccounted for. Jabina Fortson shows us officials are also doing DNA testing to try to give loved ones answers about their missing relatives.
Here's where it starts, in a taxing process recently complicated more by the rain. This crew from the Santa Barbara area is looking for remains, placing flags in questionable areas. If they find something, it ends up processed on a swab and inside a tube like this.
The only way that we can identify those people is to have family members submit reference samples so that we can match the two.
And that's why Jim Davis met us at the Family Assistance Center. He should be busy taking mouth swabs, but when we talked to him, no one had showed up yet. They had 68 family donors and they need hundreds more for DNA comparison. Maria Shahid wishes she could do it for her friend from church.
And nobody has heard of him, but we have no names or relatives or nothing.
Davis is with the company using rapid DNA to identify Campfire victims. They gave us this video to show how it works. Once the DNA chip is in the machine, results are provided within 2 hours. Officials tell us this is the first time this process has been used in a mass casualty situation.
There are people out there who have loved ones who are among the dead at the morgue that we have not been able to identify.
If you're related to someone missing in the California Campfire.
This PSA was just released calling for family donors. Mouth swabs can be taken at any police station in the country. Still, some are hesitant.
As we've collected samples from people, you know, we see this kind of emotion that comes with finally, you know, accepting the possibility that their loved ones are gone.
That was Jabina Fortson reporting. Family displaced by the Campfire are receiving a very generous gift. The Diocese of Sacramento is offering free tuition to affected students at more than 36 private schools. That will last the rest of the school year. Tuition at those schools costs several $1,000s. Displaced students will also receive free meals, uniforms, and school supplies. Today, a Rock Hill family will honor an 18-year-old who disappeared 4 years ago and has never been found. Aaliyah Bell was last seen on November 25th, 2014. Police say she was walking with a friend along Chestnut Street. She had nothing with her, not even her cell phone. Today, loved ones will walk along Chestnut Street and release balloons in Aaliyah's memory. Now take a look at this video. Protesters in Morrisville, North Carolina tried to stop this Immigration and Customs Enforcement van from driving. They started protesting yesterday after they say ICE wrongfully arrested a man. Michael Highland shows us how this man's arrest led to dozens more.
We shall not be moved.
They tried to keep this van from leaving.
Get your hands off of them!
Inside, Samuel Oliver Bruno, arrested earlier in the morning.
I think they had tackled him like he was not a human being, and they just like used brute force to arrest him.
He came to this immigration office in Morrisville with his family for fingerprinting as he sought a path to stay in the U.S. For almost a year, he's lived in sanctuary at Citywell United Methodist Church in Durham. ICE took him into custody soon after his appointment in Morrisville Friday. The sheriff's office also charged his son with assault, saying he jumped on an ICE agent and put the agent in a headlock. outside, protesters tried to stop ICE from taking Samuel. Police warned them to move, then minutes later began arresting people.
He's an unbelievable human being that cares for his family.
My husband was detained also. Families should be together.
Police arrested more than 24 protesters, including City Wells pastor.
Because Samuel is my friend, because he's a father, because he's a husband, because he's my brother in Christ.
A spokesman for ICE says Oliver Bruno was convicted in 2014 of coming into the country illegally from Mexico using fraudulent ID documents. He had no further appeal.
That was Michael Highland reporting. A new federal report says a record 14,000 immigrant children are now living in U.S. detention camps and shelters. That's up from the 2016 monthly average of 4,000 to 9,000 children. The high number of detained children is said to be the result of the Trump administration's policies to, quote, reduce risk and increase safety. Those policies include exhaustive screenings of adult sponsors wanting to care for detained children. 7:10 now. We're taking a live look from our Speedway camera, although it's kind of difficult to see through the shot we're looking at right now of the Speedway because of the raindrops on the camera's lens. You can make out a little bit of it, though. Going to be a dreary day. That's a perfect example of that. And we're going to send things over to Jacqueline Shear as an update on your forecast from Severe Weather Center 9.
Yeah, and you know what? The good news is that at 8 a.m. this winter weather advisory will expire for our area, not because the rain will end, but because those temperatures will increase. So this freezing rain will just turn to rain. That's the good news. Bad news is this rain sticks around for a little while. Here's a look at temperatures. 32 degrees in Boone, 31 in Jefferson, 32 Morganton, Hickory, Lincolnton. So you can see why we're still seeing that freezing rain out there and even a few flurries in the high country right now. But again, turning just to rain for a while in just an hour or so. I'm going to be tracking when that rain entirely will clear up, though, coming up in just a few minutes.
2 local zip codes have an abnormal risk of developing thyroid cancer.
And they cry and they're scared. It's horrible.
At 7:45, an ongoing Channel 9 investigation. The questions the state has not answered about this alarming health hazard. Chunks of road missing from uptown Charlotte. At 7:30, I investigate who's responsible for this danger to drivers. Young children are struggling with addiction to video games. Next, the warning signs you should learn to spot and the expert advice for parents whose children are addicted.